friends, and welcome back to the Time to Level Up podcast. I am thrilled you're here. And I wish we were all here in person because I am coming off of my She Thinks Big live event. I am recording this about 10 days after that. And it's so amazing to be in person. And in fact, one of the biggest pieces of feedback I got was how amazing it was to be in person, not in person versus Zoom, but in person in order to feel the energy and create a deeper connection, that kind of in person. So I'm going to do another episode that's all about the event and how I created it and what went into it. But today, what I wanted to share with you was a segment from it. It was from our session one. Session one at She Thinks Big Live was about creating your belief plan. And, we all hear about action plans. What do I need to do? We all hear about time. What's the time frame for this? We actually have lots of discussion these days about work-life balance, and we could have a whole episode on that. But what I want to share with you today is this concept of belief plan. And I had to have a belief plan in order to create She Thinks Big Live. Let's get real. But I also share with my clients the importance of them having a belief plan. And I invited up on stage 3 of my mastermind clients who have really, really embraced this belief plan. Now, one of them you'll hear will say, I think you should have a belief plan from day one. I'm not sure she had a belief plan from day one, but now she recognizes that she should have had a belief plan from day one. But these 3 have been in coaching long enough and have gone deep enough with coaching to recognize the importance of a belief plan. And they're all part of my mastermind. And the mastermind is called Runway to Freedom. And the reason I title it that, you've probably heard me say, is because when you have got a business that is profitable, that is multiple 6 figures, part of being the business owner, or the reason that you're probably still in business, is because you want some freedom. You don't want to be tied to a desk 9 to 5. You don't want to have to answer to someone else. And you've got to believe that that is actually possible. So Nicole Pence Becker, who was my MC, sat down with Whitney, Rebecca, and Cynde and had a conversation about their belief plans, how they formed them, what it really entails. And you're going to see actually that they have different beliefs. It's not just about grow the business. Rebecca is going to mention, or I'm going to bring it up to have her mention, how she traveled 60 plus days out of the year and has a profitable, growing, thriving counseling practice. Cynde, that took belief. Cynde has hired a team of people now to be educators, to do some of her back end stuff. And she really had to believe that she didn't have to do it all herself. Okay. Whitney really had to hone in on the belief that she had to get her home situation, her kids, care of her children and family in order to grow her business, and that it was okay if that the babysitter she had for 3 months wasn't the babysitter that she was going to have in month 4. It didn't have to be some, amazing hire that she was going to have for 10 years. She just had to fill the role and move on. And she had to take care of that in order to take care of her business. So there's lots of tidbits in here as we talk about belief plan. So I'm just going to let you listen to this and then stick around to the end because I want to point out a couple things to you after you have listened to these amazing women, amazing CEOs.
Let's give a round of applause. And as you can see there, ladies, 2 of you on the couch, 1 right there. Andrea is going to stay with us. And as you can see, they come from all over, literally all over the country, which is really cool to have these, actual practical applications of being a big believer. So ladies, Whitney, let's start with you. Walk through it, introduce everybody to who you are, what you do, and then we'll start talking about the belief plan. But sure. Let's introduce you.
Yeah. Good morning. I'm Whitney Vredenberg, and I live here in Indianapolis. I have 4 kids, ages 12 through 6. They did have a 2-hour delay today. They also had one Tuesday, but anyways. And I own a home staging and design business based here called Nested Spaces. And I've been working with Andrea for 3 years now. And I'm excited to be here and to just share knowledge with everybody.
Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca Hogg, and I have a counseling practice in the Dallas area. And I've been working with Andrea for about 2 years now, I think. About 2.5 years into my business. So I'm happy to be here.
And Cynde.
And I am Cynde McGinnis. I grew up in Indiana, but now live in Massachusetts. And I've been working with Andrea for a long time, about 3.5 years, I think.
A long time. A good long time.
I own the Whale-mobile. We have a life-size inflatable whale that we take around.
I researched it. I love it.
She might be the most unique business
Right,
of all
and-
the businesses here, but
Well,
that's okay.
Yeah, and Cynde, now I'm so in love and distracted by your hairpiece right now. So,
She always has something whale on.
It's a whale.
Sorry.
So did you guys catch what Cynde does? Okay, because I think it's so unique. Sometimes you have to wrap your head around. So Cynde, you were saying, and you've been working with Andrea for several years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these are clients. They've obviously been a part of this idea of first starting with a big belief. So let's talk about belief plan. Like just initially, one of you tell us, like when you understood that concept from Andrea, how did you first react to it, right? Like what did it kind of, make you think of first? And were you aligned with what it turned out really to be? Whitney, you want to take that one?
I think for me, so this type of coaching was new and different. I've had a business coach ever since I started my business, and I came from a corporate background. So, I got my master's and did all those types of things. But when you own your own business, it really starts from a belief in yourself, and your business grows at the rate which you are growing. And so to have a belief plan is really, for me, it was very overwhelming because I knew where I wanted to go, but to become the person I needed to become to get to those goals felt very overwhelming. And so what Andrea did is first of all, she made me laugh and cry. And she was like, this is supposed to be fun. So I guess if I could instill anything in today's discussion, I would say, these are your goals. Don't take them too seriously. The journey is supposed to be challenging and also fun. So,
Yeah.
And rewarding.
and rewarding.
And
Yeah.
it has been for you.
Yes.
Okay, so Rebecca, talk about your belief plan and how you had to really hone in on what you believed as an individual to help define, your business goals.
Oh man. So it started with our consultation call where she basically at the end, she's like, are you committed? Do you believe that you can do this? And thankfully I was at a place of desperation where I was like, yes, I am committed and I believe that I can. So, and that has been a journey of different beliefs of like, I think I'm capable to, I am capable and things like that. So definitely worth the journey. And yes, some tears and some laughter, but definitely a lot of fun too.
Was this one of the hardest parts of just starting, with kind of, your business plan and your goals is like sitting down and making you think about, here's where I stand, here's what I believe, here's what I think I'm capable of. Cynde, how do you feel about that?
I don't think it was like a sit down and do it. I think for me it was really gradual. Like I started coaching because I was quarantining pre-vaccines and stuff for 10 days, and I was sitting in my bedroom and I was like, I can't do anything. Like I need a mindset shift. And that was like one of the things that I remember saying. Like I knew that I just was not thinking about life in a way that was going to get me anywhere. And so I feel like the belief plan is, for me, has been a little bit more gradual in this like kind of a year and a half of, I don't know, kind of being in different directions. And then literally had a moment where we were talking and you were like, I believe that you can do this. And that was for me like a huge thing that was like, oh, I can do this.
So what was that, like, how was that? I know, in those moments, it really is about like, what is that feeling in that space and that time and that moment? And it's maybe hard to kind of articulate it, but what was it how she said that or how you got there that you were like, I'm going to act. Now I'm going to move.
Because I knew that I could do it. And I think that there's been this little I know I can do this. I mean, the whales have been my thing my whole life. Like that's for me, it's never been the what am I going to do? It's the kind of more the how. Like I always knew that I could talk to people about whales, but it was like believing that I could do all of the other pieces of running a business and figure all that stuff out and be able to create something that was viable. Yeah.
I think also, I'm just going to throw something in.
Yeah.
I'm going to call on you. No, all right. So you had a hard time thinking bigger.
Yeah.
You had just one sort of model of how you were going to communicate to the world, what you wanted to communicate. And it was really hard for you to break out of that and think about other ways and being on bigger stages and sharing to different types of audiences and growing a team and all the things. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I felt like I was kind of like, I can't do this by myself. But that was the only way that I was thinking about it.
How you could do it.
Yes. And that has shifted entirely.
And that's probably a big piece of all of this, recognizing and believing in the fact that you can lead others, you can coach others, you can be, motivated even by others. Talk about, I think, Whitney, some of your, kind of story is, the growing of team and the trusting of others and the belief that you can do that, which was new and exciting.
So, I know some of you have kids here. So I have 4 kids and I have a traveling husband. And we moved a few years ago, almost 10, to Indianapolis, and we moved away from family. So that was also different for me. And the fact that, you think about your family life and how you have a village helping you. And then you also need a village helping you grow your business. And so I think what I've learned through Andrea, because I was trying to do it all myself, and, with kids, you kind of have a rotating group of helpers, depending if they're in college or if they're, out for the summer or whatever. And so setting expectations pretty low that, hey, every 3 to 6 months, I may have to get a new pool of people to help me with my house, with my kids, with this puppy I just got, all those things. And so that's the personal. And I think women tend to, men can categorize things. And, when they're at home, they're at home. When they're at work, they're at work. But for women, everything kind of melds together. So I really needed that support at home in order to feel like I could focus and grow and be a leader within my business. And initially with my business, I was hiring, and there's nothing wrong with this, younger, less experienced people to help me. And in the past few years, I've hired more experienced people. It's been more costly, but can I tell you, when they are doing a job for me, and I know I can improve a couple things, but I don't have to be there the whole time. And I can focus on the business, not in the business, how valuable that is. And that was a big shift for me too. And so I think considering hiring experts on your team that, may be a little more costly than you initially thought, but they will be your salespeople. They will take work off your shoulders. They will make you look good in front of clients. And so those are all big lessons for me. Yeah.
That's good. Rebecca, what do you want to add on that talk track?
Yes, just also something you said even before that of delegating, right? Andrea has 5 levels of delegation, I think.
Yes.
And that was really helpful, not just delegate, what does that mean? And break it down into ability of trust and how much you trust somebody.
Are they capable? Do they get it? Do they have the capacity for it? And you will probably find in the beginning, you will be hiring somebody wants to work with me. That's great.
Yeah.
But once you experience the joys and the pains of that, then you might be looking for somebody who's an expert in X area. And that's when they can get like a level 5 delegation and you're not constantly overseeing them.
And it's an investment too, like what you're saying. Like, yes, it's more costly, but is that worth the investment? And so only you really know that, you know.
So we're talking about the people around you, whether it's in your business or, you know, kind of recognizing where your family is at. And Andrea kind of alluded to this, but I think one thing I want you guys to answer is, you know, when you look for people in your spaces, in your village, whether it's personal or professional, do you look for them to have the same believing mindset, the same belief? Like, do they have to fully embrace this same idea that, like, yes, children need to know more about whales. They need to understand how whales impact the world and the environment. I did a lot of research. I was very curious. It's like an inflatable traveling whale. I need this here. My children would love that. But for real, like, how much of the same belief system is necessary for the people in your business or for your family, or is it not?
For me, it's huge. I mean, I brought my team with me today. So my 2 educators are, I mean, we were laughing. We were at a school yesterday in Chicago, and we go travel, and we have been to aquariums. We go home and watch whale documentaries. We all talked about our documentaries that we had watched the night before with the kids yesterday that we talked to. And so we are all passionate about what we do. So that's usually important. But I will also say I brought my right-hand woman with me. When I wanted to get somebody to help me do all of the back office stuff. And one of the things that I decided was really important was that she had a marine biology background, so that she was passionate about the ocean and marine biology and getting us in front of kids to talk about it.
It was a great day when we found her. You don't even know, Christine, but we found you and you didn't even know you existed. And you should have seen Cindy's eyes light up when we were searching for you. So
after like my fire coming out of my head.
Yeah, it was hard for you to make that leap that you were going to trust someone else to do some of these things in your business that you had been doing all along.
Yeah.
So for Cynde, it's she says it's very vital that the people around her in her workspace understand and have the same belief, kind of that, you know, and then it turns into the culture, right, of the organization. Andrea, add on here on this, because I think when you said something, you know, when you're walking us through this piece of the puzzle, you said something, it's okay if not everybody maybe in your family understands your full belief plan, right?
This is a hard topic, because we also question how much should we tell them? Do they need to understand your business just as much? What do they need to know? What do they not need to know? And I think on a very basic level, they do need to believe in your cause. And if it's just from a customer service perspective, or client service perspective, like, they do have to get it that you are passionate about what you're doing and the service you're giving. Do they have to be as all in as you? I think Cindy's situation is a little unique, but because her business is constantly sharing that passion, right? But like Rebecca, you have people working for you that they get what you're doing. It's not like the end of the work. Like, they're not all going home thinking about it.
Right.
Do you agree?
They can come and go, but the main thing is, like, how do they work with the client?
Yes.
Do they work from that same standpoint from a customer service standpoint?
Right.
What is their customer service? How are
They
they going to
align
serve
with your
clients?
processes.
Yes.
Making sure
What you
that-
value.
What you value.
I talk about core values.
core values.
So they have to align with your core values. If they're all in on your mission and all that, super. But I want to bring up something about belief plan that Rebecca has done. That she has traveled the world, like, literally been traveling to other countries for how many days last year? Or
About 30 at a time. Last year and the year before. Internet. Oh, total.
total.
Oh, total? Maybe like 60 total.
Yeah, I think you told me it was 60 plus days that she was, quote unquote, out of the office. But yet, her business was still running. You were still managing to work. And that took a lot of belief that could happen.
Yes.
that she could, be in wherever you were, Norway, Sweden, somewhere,
Yes.
Denmark,
Mexico.
Sweden,
Mexico, I don't know.
Mexico, Turkey, Italy.
Right, places, and still be running a business. That in and of itself was a belief. That had to come from a belief plan.
Can I also add that it's interesting because before I would be like, oh, how am I going to do that? And then when you were like, I'm going to add what Rebecca's doing, I'm like, what did I do? And so it's almost like it becomes somewhat natural, or at least that's my experience.
And that, was that strategically a goal of the year? Was it, and what years ago, was it a dream? How cool would it be one day to own a business while it's still scaling and it's profitable and people are doing, the work with and for you because they're passionate about it as well. And you're able to explore the world as you always wanted, but never thought both were possible.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of those good examples of, in that belief plan, you do have to think about the dream. I mean, it does sound kind of crazy, right? To own a business and to be gone 60 days out of the year. I mean, that's incredible. But you've achieved that now with the goals in place of kind of making sure you have the right people, the right processes, everything along the way.
Yeah. And I thought, because I worked for a school district before as a teacher, then I changed careers to what I really love to do. And I was like, oh, I can only do it during the summer.
Right.
And then some things happened and took a leap and started my own business, and then was able to work so much differently that it wasn't just the summer or just winter break or just spring break. So, yeah.
I love that. Whitney, last thing, mindful of time, but, as you think about, all of us in the room, whether some have sat down and thought about, a belief plan, who and how should you come to the table, recognizing it can be gradual, but how should you kind of approach that? What point do you have to be at in your business to start?
I think you should start from the very beginning with a belief plan. And then I think you should write it out. And I prayed over mine. So, if you want to sage it, if you want to, I don't know, do whatever, do it.
Yeah.
And then I shared it with Andrea. And then, we talked through it. And we kind of fleshed out what that could actually look like. And I think that's the power of kind of doing some homework on your own. And you have free reins to think through that. And then when you share it with somebody else who you trust and who can guide you, the power is you have this conversation and it becomes more real. So just like anything, when I'm trying to start something new with the business, or I have this business idea, before it happens, I start talking about it, and I kind of get this I'm riffing on it, but I get this elevator pitch going, and I like to. It's kind of a game to me because I'm like, how are people does this?
Do they like that word?
How does
Do
it
they like
sound?
the other word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and you get more comfortable saying your dream or your goal. I guess it's your goal.
Dreams and goals.
Yes. Out loud. And so then as you speak it, I feel like you're literally manifesting it. And it may not look exactly how you wrote it out. So there's flexibility in that. But I think that's part of just how the universe works to help you bring that goal to life.
And revisiting it, I'm a big believer in revisiting things over and over again. And they evolve, right? They change. But all three of you, I think it's all evolved over time.
I did have to borrow your beliefs initially a lot.
Yes.
And that was fine, and that's okay. And it was helpful.
I always say I believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
Yeah. Which is, that's what I do for clients, right? Sometimes they don't believe that they can achieve things. So, no, I see it. And so this has been really helpful for me in that. So he's like, I can see this happening. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, I love that.
Ladies, let's give a big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's sometimes hard, right, to get up and be, open to answering questions and to share about kind of what you're doing in your space.
Okay, my friends, what did you think of that conversation? I want to point out a couple things to you. Okay, a couple things. Number one, did you notice how Whitney mentioned several times that as a CEO, as a business owner, there's both tears and laughter. There are challenges and fun, and it has to be fun in order for you to keep going. I think that is something that we learn in this mastermind, because when I do these in-person retreats, and I'm doing another one in April, so if you want to be in on that, you need to message me ASAP. But we learn in that mastermind that we can mix business and fun. Business is fun in and of itself. How do we have fun in our business? So that is number one thing. One thing I wanted to point out to you. The second thing I wanted to point out to you is that they mentioned you can only grow as fast. Your business can only grow as fast as you grow as a human. So this concept of personal development being key for CEOs, it's true, because your business is only going to grow as fast as you do, as fast as you expand your thinking, as fast as you think of new possibilities, as fast as you take care of yourself. That's super important. Okay. Something else I wanted to point out to you that came across a couple times was the fact that I believe in my clients more than they believe in themselves often. And they have to borrow on my belief in order to keep going. And again, that is something that I think comes across in all levels of all coaching programs I have, but especially in the mastermind, because we are thinking about bigger concepts, bigger growth, bigger challenges, bigger risk. Okay, so if you're someone who would love to have someone believe in you and not just say it, but truly live it, then you should consider joining us in the mastermind. Okay. And here's the last thing. You have to figure out, as CEO of your business, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. Okay. What you're going to delegate, what you're going to do yourself. And that involves a belief plan, because you have to be believing that other people can fulfill roles and functions in your business, maybe even better than you. Maybe even better than you. And hiring, spending money on these people is worth it. I think Whitney comes out and says it. She's dabbled in hiring lots of different people, and she's realized that she should just hire the best. And that goes for your support team. That goes for the people that actually are delivering the service, all the things. And I consider myself an integral part of my clients' businesses who are in the mastermind. I kind of consider myself part of their support team, an employee almost. And my role is to believe in them, among other things. But it is worth investing in that in order to feel good about things, in order to have fun, in order to grow, in order to get to all the places that you want to get to. So come join us in coaching. Set up a consult call. Let's just chat. Maybe the mastermind is not for you. Maybe one of the other coaching programs is. But if you have an inkling of believing in yourself, imagine the belief that someone else might have in you. And this is different than a family member, my friends. Like your spouse, I'm sure they believe in you, or your partner, your kids, your mom, whatever. But having someone outside of your business holding space for you, holding that belief, is of utmost importance if you want to grow as a human and as a business owner. So why not believe that even just having a conversation about securing additional support may be valuable in and of itself? Forget about whether or not you decide you want to work with a coach. Just the call is you showing yourself that you believe in yourself. It's like evidence that you know that you have the power to create anything you want. And maybe you need a boost. Maybe you need someone to believe in you. Maybe you need some ideas. Maybe you need to figure out how you're going to do it. And that all can come from coaching, but it first has to come from you in believing that something like this is possible. Rebecca said, when I asked her at the end of the consult if she believed in herself, and she said yes, she kind of was like, what? I kind of realized that you probably believed in yourself. You probably believed in me more than I did at that point, 100%. And she was willing to let me hold that belief for her. So I'm willing to hold belief for you. You just have to have a teeny eensy bit of belief in yourself in order to set up a free complimentary consult call. Sometimes I think these consult calls in and of themselves are worth thousands of dollars. For who cares what comes of it? So I really am urging you to not just sit back and take passive action, like listening to a podcast, and I love podcasts, but to take some massive action. Head over to Andrea's with an S, links.com, find the set up or schedule a consult call button and schedule it. And if there's not a time on there that works for you, message me. We'll find a time. I'm willing to work with you. All right, my friends, I believe in you. I believe in you. Stay tuned for more from She Thinks Big Live in the coming episodes. But this is why I wanted to start with this, because I think this is super duper important. All right, my friends, until next time, it's your time to level up. It's your time to level up. Get yourself the support you need. Come join us at the Mastermind Retreat. But if you're going to do that, you got to act some fast right now, because we're meeting at the beginning of April. All right. Have a great week. See you next time.